So I am not at all vested into this, Clinton Foundation story. I think it's obvious that it's a way for people to buy influence. I think that suggestions to the contrary are insulting to people's intelligence, and like I don't think that this discussion is really worth my time. And I think that if you're dumb enough to fall for it, then it's not my concern, kind of thing. But it is, at the very least, astounding to read through the narrative that's being constructed. The way the media is framing it as though it's some kind of question, and then this establishment propaganda that's trying to it's just, it really reflects the idiocy of the popular culture in the United States, right? They're making an argument that a conflict of interest is only an issue after proof of wrongdoing, which negates the whole concept of a conflict of interest. Their argument is that a conflict of interest is not a real thing. That's what they're saying, really. That you should go ahead and let people into positions of power that have conflict of interests and then prosecute them after they do something wrong. This is so astounding to me that I don't even really know the history of it, right? Like, does somebody actually have to go back through, British case law, and point out, like all of the the overthrowing of historical precedent that comes with this position is, it's like arguing against the Magna Carta, right? It's one of the most deeply held positions in British jurisprudence. And if you're an American and you take offense to me talking about British, then you're not aware of the reality that the American legal system is based on the British legal system. Did you think it was based on the Spanish legal system? It's the British legal system. I'm sorry. Deal with it. You speak English. Did you not realize that? I speak American. Right, sure, okay, all right. But the presidents, you don't even have to have a legal background to understand that essentially the entire American legal system has a basis in British case law, right? Every single one. In fact, there are lots of circumstances where the United States has held on to traditions that the British have since discarded. Like the system of imperial units, or the grand jury. I don't have that in Britain anymore, but it was a British tradition, right? Now, it's an American. No, it's not. It's British, okay? And so how do you, and then you want to say that the argument that the AP is, no, it's not that the argument that the AP is presenting is very bad. It's this idea that a conflict of interest is not a real issue. If you let her take over power with that kind of thinking, you're essentially giving her absolute power. You're not electing her president, you're crowning her queen. And I've pointed this out more than once, is that that's how she sees herself. It's obviously disingenuous, okay? She can't actually think that. She can't actually think that it's okay to put people with conflict of interest in power as long as they don't act on it and then prosecute them afterwards. That would mean that a conflict of interest is not an issue in law at all. So she can't actually think that. She's, again, just balls out flat out lying. But I mean, it's just the audacity of it, okay? It's really astounding to hear this from a serious candidate at this point in the cycle. The propaganda aside, it's amazing to hear someone that's supposed to be the moderate candidate stand up and claim that a conflict of interest is not a serious issue. And the only thing you can really take away from it is that she thinks she's above the law. She thinks the law doesn't apply to her, and she thinks we should agree with her. It's like she's running on the idea that she's above the law. What is she going to hold that as to a mandate afterwards? Argue that she has a mandate to be above the law? Like I say, I'm not getting into this. I don't want to walk down this path. I don't think it's worth my time. I don't think it's worth your time. I will point you to this article by Glenn Greenwald that I don't want to say I mean, he didn't do a lot of work either, right? But he at least put some links together to more forcefully demonstrate the absurdity of this position. And then they stand up and accuse the other person of being a dictator in waiting. I mean, it seems pretty clear that she's going to win. I mean, unless something happens. But it's like, this is there's a lot of danger for democracy, one way or the other. As I've stated over and over again, Hillary Clinton does not want to be president of the United States. She wants to be queen, wants to be empress of the American Empire. She's running for empress of the American Empire. She doesn't care what your stupid law says.